To completely botch the line from Forrest Gump, life is like a box of timelines. I'm Dave Ruby, and that line is actually from the Netflix series Russian Doll. But we're actually talking today about past life regression. And I want to talk a bit about it because it tends to be a bit of a controversial topic, and people have kind of debated if it should be done with clients or not, and of course, if it's real or not. And I'll go into some of that, as well as how it can be used and why you might want to use it, and also some of the pitfalls that may exist with past life regression, and hopefully how to avoid it. To address the first question, is it real? The most honest answer I think anyone can give to that question is we really don't know. You certainly can't prove it scientifically, and there is some debate about that. I'm not going to go too much into that topic, except to say that while it can't be proven scientifically, a lot of people believe that it's a real thing, and a lot of people don't. Also beyond that, if you look at memory, whether that's a memory from something last week, 5 years ago, much less something from a potential past life or some kind of altered reality experience in hypnosis, we know that memory is stored and retrieved imperfectly. As much as we might like to think that memory is taken verbatim, we're not actually like recording things in like perfect 4K high-res video and playing it back as it actually happened. We know from science that we actually distort, delete, and generalize information. That's when we first store it. So any memory you have is automatically imperfect. It might be pretty good. It doesn't mean that those things you remember didn't happen. It means it's not perfect. And then, of course, every time you access a memory, that memory is shifted based on your emotional state, context around you, how you're feeling, and your own personal biases and filters. That memory is then saved, and again, it's saved more imperfectly, so it's very elastic and it changes over time. That said, going back specifically to past life regression, there are some things about it that are worth noting. I actually did some research into the studies about having done clinical work with past life regression. If you go to PubMed, there actually are studies about them doing these things clinically. And a couple of studies I found that were interesting to me. Well, the first one indicated that your expectancy to actually have a post-life regression or past life regression event indicates if you will or if you won't. So in that study, they actually had 3 groups, and the first group they actually presented as this like amazing, successful thing that was proven to work for people. And those people had a lot of, overall, the participants had a lot of past life regression experiences. I think most of the participants had either single or multiple past life regression experiences. Some had various timelines, but most of the people in that group had some kind of experience. They say it because they expected to have an experience. The B group, second group, was told that, in neutral terms, that a group of researchers in California had this, had done past life regression and appeared to have some results, but they weren't really told it was great or that it was terrible. They're just told that it existed and seemed to work. And those people tended to have experiences as well. A little less in the A group, but still at a pretty high level. Now, the C group was told that, and I believe they called them these far out, wacky California researchers, had this new modality, and they treated it like it was this kind of like farce, and that it wasn't probably going to work, and it was really just kind of ludicrous. And those people tended to not have the experience. So lesson for hypnotists there, the expectancy, as well as the desire to have the experience, but the expectancy really played a big role. So if you expect to have that experience, you tend to have it. If you expect you won't, that can color your experience as well. But to borrow the line from Bob Burns, real or imagined. Whether it's something real or imagined, there are things you can get from a past life experience. Now you can treat it as if it's an actual literal thing, like it's a literal memory that you had from some past experience. And again, we can't prove that's actually what happened or not. But we can prove that it does have some metaphorical value, and that real or imagined, in talking about this with Michael Watson, he's the person I train with for this, he said that anytime he's done past life regressions, they tend to have some kind of profound experience. Now, whether that's actually a real experience or one that your unconscious gave you, if you think about it, you've given your unconscious the imperative to go and look for something of importance to you. And again, to use that line, real or imagined, whatever you come up with or whatever your unconscious makes conscious is probably going to be of some value to your life presently. Now, again, whether this is real or imagined or metaphorical or symbolic, I would encourage you to go into a past life regression, not looking to find some kind of hardcore fact about your life. Same with any regressive experience. If we know that whatever we come up with is going to be imperfect based on how we store and retrieve memory and how we process it, all we can really do is find some kind of message or some kind of meaning that we can then apply to our present life. In fact, the two main drawbacks or two main criticisms I've heard about past life regressions are, one, we don't know if it's even real, which fair enough, but any kind of metaphorical work can be metaphorical. It doesn't have to be real verbatim. And anything we remember by its very nature is imperfect. But also there's the metaphorical process, and we can actually rely on it that way. The other criticism is that it can implant false memories. And that was actually a problem, I believe, in the 80s, whenever police did hypnosis and they would try and lead the participants, lead the witnesses. So the way to get around that, or the way to not do that rather, is to don't lead. Don't try and ask leading questions to get some kind of answer from patients or clients, but just allow them to see what comes up naturally. But again, I would go into hypnotics or regression or past life regression or normal regression even, to see what kind of insights or messages or learnings you can get from it that can be applied to the now. And in fact, Melissa Tiers even teaches a class, and I'm reading verbatim, she teaches a class called The Atheist's Guide to Past Life Regression. And I think what she means by that, and when I read and talked to her, it's not that this is just for, her class is not just for atheists or not agnostics. It's past life regression in a way where anyone can have the experience and get whatever unconscious learnings come out of it, regardless of your belief system, or if you think it's real or true, or if you don't know, or if you think it's not real. It's a way to kind of elicit that response from your unconscious for something in that sort of modality. But I just wanted to touch base and rather cover those bases as far as what I believe it is and what I believe it isn't. And again, a little bit about what the research shows and how it tends to work. But if you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, or want to make any sort of critique, or even just say hi, leave those in the comments below. I would love to hear any feedback, but I also love to know what you'd actually like to hear me talk about next, because I have some things I would like to talk about, but again, it's less important what I talk about or what I want to talk about, more important what you actually want to hear me say. So thank you for your time. Talk to you later.